Help for a starving man. Men and women are different in many ways, and so are their options for giving and receiving physical support. The average woman has physical support all around her. If she's a mother, then she has the affection of her children. If she has young children, then she has them climbing all over her and sometimes, maybe often, feels like she doesn't have enough space. If she goes out with friends, she can give and receive hugs of support. In the workplace, it's also just fine for her to give another female co-worker a supportive touch, a hug, touch on the shoulder, what have you. In numerous places in her life, she has options for being touched in a supportive, healthy manner. Now, men, by contrast, have very few options, unless, of course, they live in a country like Italy or Greece where openly showing affection is normal and acceptable. Men can't do much more than a handshake in their workplace. A man can go days and weeks without ever being touched by another human being. Days and weeks. Now let's consider a married couple and how this scenario plays out. Let's assume the couple has young children. Whether the wife is working outside the home or working exclusively inside the home with the children, she is giving and receiving physical affirmation often. So often, in fact, as I mentioned before, that she feels the need to have some breaks from having small children hanging on her. Now, her husband comes home from work, and he hasn't touched another human being all day, and maybe, quite possibly, for many days. The table is set for another argument about sex because she feels they just had sex a couple days ago, and for him it feels like weeks. One of the key reasons is that as men we have very few options for physical affection, with our wives being the primary source. The wife feels overstimulated, and the husband feels starved. So what can be done? For women, make the act of touching your husband a habit. Make it a top priority. A man craves more than anything acceptance by his wife. If he doesn't feel he's getting this, he will eventually give up trying. Number 2, schedule regular times for sex with your husband like you would any other important appointment and keep your commitments. This idea may not live up to your idea of fantasy, I can pretty much guarantee that. But men don't care because if they aren't receiving physical affection from you, then they won't get any. And that is the beginning of the end for the relationship. For men, don't pretend like you don't have a need for non-sexual physical contact from your wife or from other human beings. Physical touch is a normal human need and nothing to be ashamed of. It does not mean you are weak and therefore flawed. 2, learn to touch your wife physically in ways that don't lead directly to sex. Do it because you want to show her how much you care and like to be near her, not just because you want to have sex.